on that gate right now, getting set. Damon Huffman, number 17. Jeremy McGrath leans in. They're starting to rev up. And the season is underway for the 250s. It is Jeremy McGrath on the inside. Emig to the outside. McGrath is tied up in turn 1. He has an atrocious start. Out in front is Jeff Emig, number 3.
Steve Lamson down in the first corner. He and Jeremy both getting tangled up.
Bradshaw went down. He was in second place at the time.
What a bad break for all the top 3 guys. McGrath down again before the peristyle, and Emig pressured by Albertine.
Brown and McGrath ran into each other. Lamson just passing Jeremy McGrath in last place. Meanwhile, out in front, it is Jeff Emig. And right behind him is Greg Albertine. Albertine and then Henry, along with Larry Ward. Michael Craig is after Ward, so a Honda of Troy contention there.
Boy, what
Here's Jeff Emig out in front.
What a gift for Jeff Emig right now. McGrath, Lamson, and Bradshaw, 3 guys that were on fire in the heat race, all at the back of the pack now. Great opportunity for Albertine to win.
Oh, Lamson and McGrath went down again. Lamson making the contact in the corner.
McGrath holding up his arms like, come on. That's twice now, Steve. Come on.
Yeah, those guys had to work together. They need to go up through the field. That's not going to happen now.
All they can hope to do now is just salvage some points, not drop too far back in the series standings.
The worst finish ever by a winner of a Supercross season in the opening round was Jeff Stanton. A 7th place finish, and he came back to win the title that year. Otherwise, 9 of the 21 champions won the first round.
Smooth, focus. Jeremy is telling his rider Emig, who's starting to pull a little bit of a lead on Greg Albertine now. Albertine's going to start feeling some pressure from Henry, who's starting to sneak up from behind. And Larry Ward, nobody really expected to even ride this main event, will start creeping into your screen. There you see him, number 6. Who'd have thought a guy that just had a pin taken out of his ankle would be running the number 4 spot at the opening round.
Hoffman starting to make a move from behind, too, as we take a look at Larry Ward challenging for 4th position.
This is exactly what he had hoped for. He told me, he goes, hey, nobody's really dialed in. So many weird things go on in the first round. I might as well try and ride, just salvage some points. He may end up on the podium.
And you have to give a lot of credit to a guy like Ryan Hughes, who's just in it for the points after such an illness last night. He says, hey, I'm just going out there and trying to collect some points. Well, he didn't know things like this might happen, that he might finish in front of Lamson or Jeremy McGrath. There you see it, Emig, Albertine, Henry Ward, and Ezra Lusk. Now, let's go to Skip Norfolk.
Hey, one thing that these guys have an advantage over is both Jeremy and Steve are way back. They're not going to gain too many points. These guys have opportunity to pick up 20, 25 points on these guys, and that's something that points are hard to come by.
Coming down to the end of the season, this race could make the difference in the championship.
Jeff Emig is our leader. Can he hold off Greg Albertine, Doug Henry, and Larry Ward? That's the top 4. We'll be back. Welcome back to the opening round of the 1997 Supercross season. A 3-way battle really for first place now, as Emig seems to be tiring a little bit. He's making some mistakes, and it's Albertine, number 8, right on his tail, along with Henry in 3rd. Ward is in 4th. Button has moved up to 6th while we're away. Jeff Emig, 250 national champion, 1996. The World Supercross champion last year as well. 125 national outdoor champion in 92. Trying to hold off the 3-time world champion, Greg Albertine, number 8. Greg Albertine to the inside. A bar-to-bar battle into the triple. Albertine has the speed and the momentum.
Neither one of these guys realize probably what's happened behind them to Steve Lamson and Jeremy McGrath. And like Skip said, what a huge advantage in the points.
And typically these three guys up in the front aren't usually there at the beginning of the year. It takes them a while to get going. It's a huge advantage going into the season. You're going in just excited and happy, and now you're up front racing for the win. What an advantage those guys have right now.
Well, we both knew that these riders would come into this season with some momentum because of Albie's win on the World Supercross scene, Emig's fine performance, as well as the Motocross the Nations victory on that 500. But Henry is the one that surprises me. We didn't see much of him in the offseason. He did go to Japan. But Henry is holding so true after winning the first qualifying heat and is right in good position here in third place. Let's check in with Davey Coombs.
Hey, thanks, Art. I'm down here with Jeremy Albrecht. This is Jeff Emig's mechanic. Hey, does this surprise you at all? Albertine, where'd he come from?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question, but you know, it looked like Jeff will start casing stuff. He's making some mistakes. I don't know if he might have hurt his wrist or something, but he's coming up, scooping down. He's not riding like he was. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell at this point, but I hope he picks it back up here in a little bit and starts going again.
Okay, he hadn't given you any signals or anything?
No, not really much that we can see. You know, everyone's kind of wondering. We're talking on the radio trying to figure it out, but no one can see anything that really is telling us that he's hurt, but he's falling back a little bit, so might be.
All right, thanks, J-Bone. I'll let you get back to work. Thanks.
And the important factor, of course, is Steve Lamson is in 14th, Jeremy McGrath in 15th, guys.
Yeah, Jeremy's just right now, he's got to be frustrated. He wanted to so bad to come out here and just have a good finish and try to win the race. He wanted to win so bad. I don't want to be inside his helmet right now. He's not a happy person.
Doug Henry really starting to put the pressure on Emig. While we were at commercial, Emig made a mistake. His throttle hand came completely off the handlebar. He saved it, put it back on.
Here comes Henry to the inside. Emig goes down. Ward moves into second place as Relusk blazing by for third.
I wouldn't want to be inside Emig's helmet right now either, but it looked like maybe he had made so many mistakes. I would think that was arm pump. And it's just gotten worse from there. This is it. Watch his right arm. Oh, this is the pass for the, this is when he falls. Henry hits his front tire. Nothing he could do about it. He needed to put on the brakes right there just a little bit, let him get by and try to keep it on two wheels, but Emig is just off his timing right now. Henry has a shot at Larry Ward. I mean, at Greg Albertine.
Yeah, Greg's kind of out there all front by himself, just kind of riding his own race. He has no pressure. Greg's a good rider when he has no pressure.
Albertine doing a fine job of holding off the competition after getting a good lead in Tokyo. Jimmy Button and Huffman have been going at it in back of the pack. Albertine, Henry, Ward, Luskin, Button in that order. So the battle for fifth place is on.
Huffman so much faster in the whoop section, takes the inside line. Lusk tries to square him off, but Huffman had the momentum.
Huffman has those long legs, and that bike just works underneath him, and he doesn't even know what's going on. He is incredibly fast in those hoops. Unbelievable.
That used to probably worry you, didn't it?
Every weekend.
Damon Huffman coming back from that horrible ACL accident of last year. Probably raced more races in the offseason than anyone.
Well, the man on the move right now has got to be Huffman. He also got about a mid-pack start. He's been slicing his way through. He can see up to Larry Ward down this long straightaway.
Number 5, Mike Larocco of Team Suzuki. Albertine, Henry, Ward, Luskin, Huffman are top 5.
Larocco typically faster towards the later stages of the races. Still has time to move up more.
Here's our leader, Greg Albertine. Albertine, it was obvious by the interview earlier after the semifinal round, and he is having a lot more fun this year. He's got a sense of confidence. He told me after giving away the race in Paris that it gave him the confidence, though, that he would be able to win a Supercross this year. He then came back in Tokyo in that same series to capture his very first Supercross victory ever. And he certainly has looked tonight like he's learned his lessons well.
He hasn't made a mistake yet that I could see, except for right there. I shouldn't have said anything. He just dabbed his foot in the ground. He wasn't able to get over that double, but he still has enough of a cushion over Henry. Shouldn't bother him very much.
5-second lead on Doug Henry, and Henry is starting to pull it up a little bit. Larry Ward still in third place.
They're kind of in the middle of the race right now. They're kind of settling in, trying to figure out who's doing what and where each other's faster. And Larry Ward's starting to maybe kind of just hang in there, but looks like Ezra Lusk there maybe trying to put a move on the third place there coming up.
Our Honda stopwatch is underway. And Doug Henry is picking up some space on Albertine as they run through the lappers. Albertine, Henry, Ward, Lusk, Huffman, and LaRocco.
Now you can see what happened to Emig, 16 seconds down from where he once was. Had a golden opportunity to win or perhaps end up at least on the podium. Like Skip said, notoriously slow at the beginning of the season.
Bradshaw with a great start. Outstanding qualifying heat. Some 25 seconds back after going down.
Steve Lamson just now going by. Almost 40 seconds down.
Lammy trying to get around at Ryan Hughes as we go back to our leader to check out the lap time.
Greg Albertine
mentioned earlier, David, it might be interesting to see how the comparison is with the 125s on this long track.
Looks to me like he's just cruising now. I don't know if that's because he's riding a lot smoother than usual. But he's got a pretty good cushion over Henry. He's starting to inch up a little bit, but I don't think it's enough to cause Albertine to make any mistakes. Slower than the 125s, 111. That tells you how good Windham is. A little bit easier to muscle a 125 around than a 250, however, still faster, a second a lap.
Going into the season, we knew it'd be interesting with Jeremy McGrath changing bikes. But I'm not so sure I thought it'd be this interesting after the first round.
Well, it almost looked like the Three Stooges in the first couple of corners. Lamson and McGrath getting together twice. Bradshaw going down. Pretty wild. Never would have expected it.
Number 17, Damon Huffman, now in 5th place.
I think these guys now are just starting to kind of settle in, and there's not a whole lot of racing going up, head-to-head racing going up. And they're just kind of going, first race, I'm in first, I'm in third. They're just kind of settling and going, hey, this is way better than I've been before, especially on Mr. Albertine's part.
Damon Huffman starting to make a move now on Ezra Lusk, number 11. Lusk in 4th place, so Damon wants to move up the ladder. The young man from Acton, California, the two-time 125 Western champion who put together a string of 6 straight wins in 1995, is looking for his first 250 victory, but what a nice movement he's made up through the ranks.
And here they come into the whoop section. Watch Damon Huffman, like Skip said, using those long legs up the inside.
And Lusk responding. There's Huffman with the pass.
If he's close enough to anybody through that whoop section, unless they're in his line, he's going to make the pass. You can see Lusk trying to take different lines and get them back.
He's about 5 seconds in back of Larry Ward in 3rd place. Still the battle rages on, though. Ezra Lusk not letting him get off the hook.
Out in front of these guys, Albertine starting to open up a lead over Henry now.
We were thinking about a possible Suzuki victory with the 4-time champion Jeremy McGrath on a Suzuki, but could this be the first Suzuki win Supercross since LaRocco in '91 with Greg Albertine?
Well, I think you're really starting to see some of the talent of a 3-time world champion that we haven't seen over here in the United States. Right now he's having a flawless night.
Well, he made it through the heat race without breaking his collarbone for the 3rd straight year, so looking a lot different. Everybody I talked to, I mentioned before, I already talked with Jeff Stanton and Jeff Ward. They were watching practice. I said, does Albertine look different to you? And they both shook their head, yes.
Well, many riders have won their first Supercross in their opening round of a season, including Mr. David Bailey next to us.
Lucked out in '83 and won the opener in Anaheim. I don't think anybody expected it. I didn't. I was just hoping to finish in the top 5. Had kind of the same goals that we've heard from Damon Huffman. Just trying to get through the first few races, feel things out like Skip said, and then start to put on a charge, and won it, and from there on out, It's a great season and went on to win the title. And we may see this from Albertine. No goggles on McGrath now.
Yeah, that's not a good sign. Goggles off. It's hard to pass those guys when you get up on them. There's roost and dirt flying. It's not a good sign.
Horrible night for Jeremy. It looked like it was going to go great. Looked like he had the whole shot. Maybe he played it a little too safe. It looked like, same as in the heat race, he tried to break and tuck it around the inside to protect that, and Lamson ran into the back of him.
From what we've seen here in the early going in this first round, it really means there's a lot of riders that could win this year. And being as far back as Jeremy is in the first round doesn't mean that he might not contend.
No, I mean, he's won a lot of races and he knows how to win races. You can't count him out. The one thing he's always had in his favor is he's always been at the top every race.
Another thing I've noticed too is if he's ever had a bad race, he always bounces back and just demolishes the field because he's so angry. He'll probably want to be raced, not wait till next Saturday, but want to race tomorrow night. He'll be so frustrated with what happened here. So he definitely had the speed. I think he's got the equipment underneath him too, from what it looked like in the heat race, to win.
Well, if he's got the same equipment as Albertine, Albertine is our leader, number 8. Another Team Suzuki rider has moved into the top 5. Mike LaRocco is behind Huffman.
Doug Henry starting to close in a little bit on Albertine.
Conditioning might play a very important role toward the ending of this great first round from the Los Angeles Coliseum. Only 7 riders in the history of Supercross have won their first ever super event in the first round of a Supercross series. But Doug Henry is looking for his second Supercross victory. He's putting on the charge.
Huffman with a problem.
Damon Huffman trying to get that bike restarted and get back into the action.
Right at the end of the whoop section, that's where he was making up all his time. Went down. That's going to cost him a shot at the podium. And Albertine has lost a lot of time to Doug Henry. 2 laps ago, he had a big lead.
Yeah, you got to kind of wonder if maybe he's getting a little nervous. He's never been in this position before.
Yeah, the last time I remember him in this position, he gave it away to Larry Ward in Paris in the final lap. Right now, Henry is within 3 seconds of our leader. We might have a great race going on here.
The best
Albertine, Henry, Ward, LaRocco, and Lust.
The best thing Henry can do is try as hard as he can to keep the pressure on Albertine. If he doesn't have any pressure, like Skip said, he'll ride fine. He won't make any mistakes. As soon as he's got pressure, the same way Larry Ward put it on him in Paris, he could force him into a mistake.
And this could be an unbelievable story, especially after those who saw that accident in Budds Creek, Maryland, where he broke his back and came back after really a miracle surgery to even ride again. But to get his second victory would be a tremendous story.
Awesome view from behind going out to the Peristyle. You can see the crowd at the complete opposite end of the stadium. It just free fall. It's a little dark up there. These guys are jumping 3/4 of the way down. Probably falling 4 stories.
I think one of the worst things for Greg Albertine right now is Doug Henry can physically see him. He's going to put on a charge here towards the end.
Larry Ward is kind of in a lonely 3rd place right now. The rider out of Florence, South Carolina, got his 1 Supercross win in his native state of Washington at the Kingdome in Seattle. In '95, he had a great year. 2nd in the points race, the highest ever for a privateer. He was with Nolene at the time. And last year, he had a 2nd place at Charlotte. He's trying to hold on right now to a 3rd place finish in the very opener of this season.
I was walking around after practice talking with some of the riders and went over to Larry, and he was just full of himself. He goes, yeah, look pretty good, huh? What do you think? for a guy injured, just got a pin out of my ankle, how am I looking? I go, you look great, look aggressive. And
well, he had a noticeable limp. And people were wondering not just the broken leg, but the torn tendons in the ankle. That had to be one of the worst situations to have to recover from. But a very credible performance from number 6, Larry Ward. The laps running out.
I asked Larry, I said, does it hurt your foot in any place on the track? What if you come up short on one of the triples or over jump anything? Does it hurt your foot when you land? He said no. He was completely surprised by how good it felt out there, and probably a little bit surprised to find out that he's got a great shot at making the podium at the first round.
Right now, here is our leader. Emig is back up to 6th place, incidentally, as we take a look at Greg Albertine, and he got a little off balance that time, a little over the bars. A mistake would be tragic right now, as Henry is drawn to within 2.5 seconds as they go up to the peristyles.
Any mistake right now is going to cost Greg quite a bit of time, because it's towards the end of the race, and it might be something, a big mistake right now, just burst that bubble he's riding on right now, and it's not a good thing.
Any mistake from Albertine, there's his mechanic. He's crossing his fingers.
Ian Harrison.
Any mistake from Albertine is going to let Henry draw right up to his rear fender, and that's going to really apply the pressure, force him to take different lines than he's been taking.
LaRocco is now in 4th, and Ezra Lusk right behind him in 5th. This is the battle of the race right now. We'll get back to Albertine if Henry should draw any closer, but Albertine is starting to draw a little bit of lead. White flag lap right now as Albertine goes across the finish line jump. This is the final lap.
This is the most nervous lap Greg Albertine's ever put in the U.S. Supercross. I can almost guarantee you that.
He's still got a pretty good cushion. You can see them going the other way. These guys jump past. Lusk trying to stay close enough to keep the pressure and force LaRocco into a mistake.
He has a strong 3-second lead as he tries to get by the lapper. There's LaRocco and Lusk in a battle for 4th.
Because of the additional 10 seconds or so to the lap time, this main event's about 3 minutes longer than usual. So you can guarantee these guys are tired right now, and you can see Lusk and LaRocco both get a little out of shape through that whoop section, out of their rhythm.
Henry has picked up a half second coming out of the peristyles. We're taking a look at Mike LaRocco. Is this the final lap? Yes, it is. And it's Greg Albertine out in front, going through the rockers at the end of the track. He doesn't have far to go for victory. Greg Albertine, can he gain his first Supercross victory in the United States? Albertine through the timing section takes the checkered flag. Roger DeCoster has got to be going out of his mind. Ezra Lusk battling with Mike LaRocco. Mike LaRocco holds him off, going through the timing section. Can Lusk beat him across? No, LaRocco edges him for 4th place. Larry Ward finishing in 3rd. What a great first round victory for Greg Albertine for the Los Angeles Coliseum. We will be back to hear his happy words. AMA Supercross on ESPN2 has been brought to you by Suzuki. Right now, your Suzuki dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. And by Honda, the winners of the last 9 straight 250 Supercross championships. Honda, come ride with us. We are back in the Coliseum as we see, well, maybe a frustrated, if not disgusted, Jeremy McGrath after crashing several times. And I believe, Skip, this might be his worst finish ever.
Yeah, it's not going to be. He's not happy at all.
But it's been a long, hard road also for Greg Albertine. Albertine's first American Supercross victory, Suzuki's first Supercross win since 1991, and their first win in Los Angeles in 16 years. Greg Albertine, Henry Ward, our podium appearances. Let's go down to Davey Coombs.
Okay, thanks, guys. Greg, I am so happy to say welcome to the winner's circle, man.
Thanks, man. It's so good. It's been such a tough 2 years, and I just want to give Jesus Christ all the glory for giving me the talent to race with these guys. It's just great to be up here. It's been a hell of a tough 2 years, but man, when you win it, it's all worth it. I'm so happy.
Well, David Bailey says he's not going to say a bad thing about you again. Art says congratulations. Everyone's really happy for you. Did you even expect this?
Well, you know, I've been working harder than I've ever worked before, and, you know, all my sponsors, Suzuki's been great, 1-800-COLLECT, Spy, BFE, you know, just everybody's really been great, and with the bike's fantastic. Jeremy's helped me out with some riding tips, and, you know, it's got to come together sooner or later. My motto is never give up, and it's paid off, man.
All right, well, congratulations, and thanks for never giving up.
Thanks, man.
A great victory for Albertine, a disappointing loss for Jeremy McGrath, his first opening round loss since 1993. How much will this erode Jeremy's psychological hold on the rest of the field? Gentlemen, David Bailey, Davey Coombs, and Skip Norfolk, I think it's going to be one tremendous 1997 season. You see there, Roger DeCoster running toward his rider. A fine victory. Art Dickman for David Bailey, Davey Coombs, and Skip Norfolk. Happy you could join us for the 1997 Supercross opener. We'll be right